Welcome back, everybody, to the #1 motorsport podcast in the world. This week, our guest is Robby Layton, and we're also joined with our co-host Nevada here on Motorsport Minute. Robbie is a YouTuber. He is an entrepreneur running a collision shop, a demolition derby driver, also just a huge motorsport enthusiast, just like ourselves. Thank you for staying on. Don't forget to like and subscribe this video. Let's hop right in. We've met a couple times, briefly, very briefly. In the arena a few times, but happy you could hop on. It's been a long time coming. I don't know. We've been talking for a couple months now, so it's good to finally get you on.
Yeah, been trying to find time. It's been crazy.
Yeah, no, for sure. You got a busy schedule, and with just building a car, and then obviously running a business and everything else, and kids, it all takes time.
Definitely does.
Yeah, for sure. So I guess just to kick it off, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Currently, I'm 34 years old. I live in Ephraim, Utah. I guess I've been driving demolition derby cars since I was 16 years old. I haven't been winning since probably the last couple of years. I usually drive a little bit too hard and take myself out. But I mean, I enjoy derbying. I'm a collision technician by trade, and as of a year ago, we started a YouTube channel. So we've been doing a lot of that and focusing on long form content and just living life. So I'm a father of 4 kids, married, and just busy.
Yeah.
You know? Life gets crazy.
Do you own your own shop then?
Yes. So we have 12 employees. It's a 17,000 square foot collision repair center. Pretty much right now, my shop's running itself. We focus more on the content side of things, and I basically manage day-to-day stuff through. I do have a full-time manager, but I kind of, have meetings with him, and then he just runs the shop, and everybody does what they need to do, and it's working out well.
Yeah. Do you have any problems getting people? I mean,
oh yeah,
kind of up in our neck of the woods, we have the employee shortage, I guess you could call it.
Oh yeah, no, we definitely could add more employees. We do have a really good crew as far as that, but I'm actively trying to seek more people to come to work for us.
Yeah.
So
as far as collision, I mean, is it like doing the body work, the painting, that sort of thing?
Yep. So in our shop, we do all aspects of the collision repair. The only thing that we do not do in-house is a 4-wheel alignment. We just farm them out. But we do frame straightening, we do body work, we do dent repair, we do full frame swaps, we do full paint jobs. I mean, we do pretty much anything you can think of collision-wise. If it happens in an accident, we fix it.
Okay.
So
yeah, and I'm assuming those techs are actually probably even harder to find than a normal.
A collision technician has to know all aspects of the vehicle. Mechanics are super awesome, but they usually, really knowledgeable as far as the engines and drivetrain and that stuff, and not so much on the bodies.
Right. So what got you into the YouTube, or I shouldn't say what got you into it? Why did you start it?
So, I didn't plan on it. I never, ever dreamed that I would become a YouTuber. But about a year, hold on. I'm trying to think of how many months. I think we've been doing this for a year and 4 months now. So we're 16 months old. Yeah, we're still an infant. But so I've got a friend, his name is Matt Wetzel. He's actually another derby guy. Yep. And he has Matt's Off-Road Recovery. So he's got a ginormous YouTube channel. And he came to me and he's like, hey, I've got these 2 projects. I need them painted. I want you to paint them. I was like, well, okay, that's no big deal. He's like, but I want you to film them so that my audience can watch it. And I was like, well, I don't really know how to film it. Like, I don't know what to do. So he kind of coached me through it. And we filmed 7 videos before we started on his Banana. It's an XJ. I mean, I'm sure everybody's seen it. It's the yellow Jeep that he uses to recover everybody.
Yeah.
So he brought that to us. We did a full paint job, changed the roof skin. I mean, we did so much work. All 4 doors got changed. The hood got changed. The deck lid got changed. I mean, we did so much work on that, painted it inside and out. And when we dropped our first video, that first day, we gained 17,000 subscribers.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, uh-oh. Like, oh no. Like, and then we it we were in the banana build for 6 weeks. By the end of the sixth week, we were at almost 170,000 subscribers. And I was like, oh no, we can't. Like, our goal was to do the banana and then go into the golden nugget, do the golden nugget, and we were going to stop.
Yeah.
And by the time we were done with the golden nugget, we were over 250,000 subscribers, and we had hit almost 50 million views. And it's like, okay, now we have to keep doing it. And so we're putting 12 videos out a month. We're putting like 30 shorts out now a month. We've just started a short strategy, and so yeah, it's crazy. I mean, we're busy. It's just me. We're a small team. We've got my brother that's my main editor. We have a shorts editor. Actually, we hired him out of India, and the kid is just crushing it. It's pretty cool. And then my wife films for us. We've got a guy named Hillbilly, and then that's pretty much it. We've got a guy. Well, I mean, Cody. He works in my body shop, and he kind of helped a little bit on the YouTube stuff. But I mean, we're just a bare bones team that trying to make it work.
Did your brother already know how to edit prior to this, or is it all self-taught?
It's all self-taught. So he is an audio technician by trade.
Okay.
So he's been in the music world for his whole life. He's 1 year older than me, so he's 35. And I mean, our careers have never crossed paths. He's always been into music. I've been into cars. And when I started this channel and realized that I needed to stick to it,
right.
Brought him on, and he's been full-time literally since day one. And that's all he does is edit videos. So he taught himself, but I mean, having an audio technician background, he kind of understood it, and he does a really good job. I mean, at least I think.
So, that seems like the hardest part, like for the YouTube videos. If you watch a lot of YouTube, like everybody can do the film or skits or whatever you want to, but like to get the sound and lighting and everything right, that seems like the hardest part. So if your brother's very experienced in that probably was a really easy transition and fit for it.
Oh yeah, no, he's definitely. I mean, he comes and gets pissed off at him because the lighting's not right and the audio is not right, and it's like, oh my god, But we're getting used to it. But no, and the stories on YouTube, they really come together in the editing, and so he researches what's the newest, latest trends, like all sorts of crazy stuff that I never dreamed I'd know about. We're worrying about analytics, and we're worrying about what content are people going to watch. Like it's just the weirdest thing,
right?
I mean, rather than just going to work and fixing wrecked cars, we're going to work and we're strategizing on what's the craziest thing we can do that people will click on.
Right.
I mean, you totally shift your mindset, and now you get creative in a different way.
So do you get a lot of people reaching out that want to collaborate now that you have built a pretty decent following?
Yeah, you get a lot of friends.
Yeah, friends that you didn't know you had.
Friends you didn't realize you had. A lot of people that I guess were your friends in the past, and now they're your friends again.
Right.
So it's almost, and not to make this sound bad, it's almost like you get this sense of legitimacy to you, and then people start taking you serious. And it's like, I've known you my whole life. Like, I've lived in this town with you my whole life, and still the same person.
Right.
But I don't know. It's cool.
Yeah, no, it's fun to watch. What about the brand deals? Do you have those? I mean, you don't have to go into the details, but do you have a lot of people or a lot of companies, businesses reaching out?
So the craziest, this is what's so insane. So I was actually talking to my brother just the other day, and to be able to like basically tell somebody no that wants to send you a crap ton of money, cool feeling.
Yeah.
And I don't know, without going into details, but to turn down $10,000 for a minute of your time is weird.
Yeah.
And but if it doesn't fit your brand, and if it's, I mean, I get these it's the craziest thing. You'll get 50 emails a day from game companies and like, oh, promote our game. We'll pay you $1,000. It's like, not a chance, because you've got an audience that trusts you, and you don't want to be dishonest to them. You want to be authentic and real with them. And so if you take a brand deal, for whatever, I mean, a lot of it we do just for product, because if it's something we're going to buy and we can team up with a company and work with them as far as advertising for them and getting, what we need, we do a lot of that. But I don't want to just do something that is going to piss people off and not be real,
Right.
So like right now we've got a major sponsor. It's Challenger Lifts, and man, they have treated me like almost like royalty. They take such good care of me. They've tooled up my entire shop with lifts. And they just, I'm in contact with the marketing director every single day.
Yeah.
Like I would consider him a friend now,
Right.
all off of YouTube. And it's cool to make those types of relationships that aren't just like a one and done or,
Right.
that type of stuff. But yeah, brand deals, it can get weird,
No, I believe it. I believe the emails and the calls and the texts, just from sheer fact of how many people I've messaged that I know have a pretty decent following, not even just on YouTube, in life in general. And wow, we had already had a previous conversation, I think already on Messenger, so that probably helped out my message getting to you. But
and I'm also weird. I mean, if somebody takes the time to send me a message, I read it.
yeah,
I don't have an assistant, so I go through every email, I go through every message, and when I respond, it's actually me.
Sure.
I mean, there might be, I don't know, there might be a day when I'm so busy that I can't do that and I have to have an assistant or something, but I'm not there yet.
Right.
So you're still getting a personal experience as of right now. I don't respond to every single thing, but I read them all.
Right.
Yeah,
no, I know there's a lot of them that get read or probably don't even get read that I'm sending out, and is what it is. It's fine, everyone's got to shoot their shot.
Yeah. Well, no, what's I think the craziest thing for me is like becoming just networking with these bigger YouTubers that you would have never dreamed of.
Right.
Like, and that part's wild.
I would assume that the networking is probably 40% of some of it. I mean, getting to know all these different people, and that's kind of path of the growing as well.
Absolutely. And collaborations and, offering value to other channels and other people. And in return, you get their audience, and they get your audience. And that's the cool thing about YouTube is, if I go help, for instance, like Dave Sparks, and he helps me or vice versa, he has a humongous following that's going to come over and watch me. And I might have people that don't watch him that go over and watch him. Absolutely. And so you get to a point, I mean, we're at 300, I think we're at 322,000, and not every single one of those people are watching him. And so it's mutually beneficial for both to collaborate.
Right.
Which is so weird to even think about. It's like somebody with, almost 3 million subscribers. You think to yourself, well, I've got a smaller channel. How can I be of value?
Right.
You go read comments like, oh, saw you on Robbie's channel, or, oh, saw you on Matt's channel, or,
Yep. Yeah, the collaborations are huge because it doesn't really matter the following. It's just getting each other's followers to.
Well, and then just networking out of your ecosystem. We've got our little circle of derby guys that have YouTube channels between me, Fab Rats, Matt's Off-Road Recovery, and a couple other channels. Yep. But branching out of that network, you're getting a bigger audience. You're getting in front of more people, and the algorithm picks up on that. Then it starts pumping you out to more people. Right. And, like in the last 28 days, we've got 1.6 million new viewers, and which is insane. So all of a sudden, YouTube's just like, okay, well, he has this cool stuff that we want to pump out to this audience. This audience has already seen it, but now we're going to go over here. And, and you don't get every one of those viewers to stay, but, give them value to want to come back and watch more videos.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of where we've tried to head with this, not really channel, but our podcast, trying to get better and better guests. Like I told you, next week I'm heading out to Superior, Wisconsin. We'll sit down at the headquarters at Amsoil. So it's trying to upscale all the time, just like you are. Want to work with everybody at some point.
Oh yeah, well, absolutely. And you don't get somewhere without taking a risk and trying.
Absolutely.
I mean, the most somebody could do is tell you no.
Or not respond, but yeah.
that's the hardest thing for us reaching out to people is like, obviously we're not going to add much value to what they're doing, but hopefully,
you never
you know,
know.
they'll throw us a bone and help us out
Don't-
a little bit anyway.
You can't discredit a little person or a little channel or somebody that may not be as big as you, because one day that little person will be a big person.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I mean, there's plenty of times in my life that I can remember that somebody treated me like I'm less than.
Right.
And now all of a sudden they're coming and, you know, wanting to sit at your table. And it's like, where were you when I needed you?
Yep.
You know, oh, you see this? You know, I'm wherever, I'm this YouTuber,
Mhm.
and now I have value for you. You know,
Right.
so you got to be careful who you blow off and
Right.
who you give your time to.
No,
you know.
that's the truth though, for sure.
Well, I'll tell you, for one deal that I think is pretty cool that I'm excited about, that's coming up, is I made a partnership with Summit Racing.
Oh wow.
So we're headed out to Summit in Talmadge, Ohio, in either a couple weeks, sometime in May or possibly in June. But we're going out there and we're taking a 57 Chevy that we bought in Cleveland. We're going to be pulling it into Summit Racing, and 1 week later, we're going to drive it back to Utah. 100% out of their warehouse, parts, pieces, engine, like you name it. It's coming out of their warehouse, and we're going to drive it across the country. And
Nice.
5 years ago, I would have never dreamed that would happen.
Right.
You know,
I think whoever's like in charge of marketing at Summit realizes, I think they were some of the first motorsport type company that realized the value in like the YouTube stuff, like Motor Trend, when that was like the streaming service, they're kind of big on helping all that stuff. And then like, you know, when some of the YouTube stuff started blowing up, like they jumped on board like really fast and like supported them and sponsored events. And then like I noticed when you were building that car, you're like, we're going to get a Summit Racing transmission. And I was like, what the heck are you getting that for? But now that makes sense.
So yeah, no, it's crazy. And marketing is shifting, you know, because people aren't looking at yellow pages. They're not looking at Google as much. They're literally going to YouTube for entertainment. And that's where they're getting, you know, that's where they're seeing things that they want to buy that they don't know they want to buy.
Right.
Right. Yeah, it makes a big difference when you can see whatever form it is or motorsport, and then like see you using a Challenger lift or like that Harbor Freight chop out or the bandsaw. It's like, oh, those do work pretty slick. And then or like just parts in general, like, oh, they use that part, it worked awesome, like I'll go buy that.
And we can give honest feedback. Like, I'll be honest, my whole life I thought Harbor Freight was the most crappy tools on the face of the earth. And yes, we have a sponsorship by them, but I've tested a lot of tools and they have come a long ways. Like I would have absolutely no problem using their higher end stuff, you know, and there's a market for their lower end product also, you know, so they pride themselves in having stuff for every aspect of DIY. You know, you got your guys in your garage, you've got your guys that use their tools once a year, and then you have professionals using them too. And they've really come a long ways.
Oh, absolutely. I think their tools I mean, it's almost hard not to buy them for the price and the quality.
Yeah. And I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm a Snap-on diehard through and through Milwaukee. Like I really like nice tools, but I have absolutely no problem using tools from Harbor Freight. Same. You know, and I'm not even paid to say that. They don't pay me.
Yeah.
I just put some tools.
Right.
You know, which is super cool.
So how was it working with Sparks?
Dude, it was super awesome. So he is probably the busiest man on the face of the earth. But he's just a real dude. You know, I sat in a snowcat and we sat and bullcrapped about Cletus McFarlane and his race, you know, because I went to the Bristol 1000 last year to the Vic race, and I told him, I was like, man, I would love to drive in one of his races. Yeah. And he's like, oh, well, I'm his buddy. I'll talk to him about it. I'm like, okay, well, I'd do anything if I can get in that race. Right. You know, kind of joking around, but man, he sent me a text last night of a Freightliner RV that he picked up in California, is just driving back to Utah, you know? So it's cool, you know, building relationships and becoming friends with these people.
Oh yeah. You're finding people that are more aligned to what you're doing. So, you know, the bond is actually going to grow even tighter than probably more you could consider them acquaintances from, you know, earlier in life. So.
Oh yeah. Well, and I've painted in the past. I've painted 3 trucks for Diesel Brothers. I've done I've done 2 giveaway trucks, and I did a 6x6 for him a couple of years ago. And,
Sure.
so we had a business relationship, but now it's like I can text him, or, hey, if you need help, I'll go help you. He's helped me a bunch. And
Sure.
so,
No, that's super cool. That's that helps in your world, and it's cool to see, obviously, on your channel side as well. I mean, for the viewers to see
well,
that.
and we've got a pretty cool project coming up that we're teaming up with Sparks, with their Sparks Motors channel. So everybody in the world knows who John Wayne is. And so John Wayne's son, Ethan Wayne, he's got the John Wayne Foundation, and we're doing a truck for them, for Sparks Motors. So we're actually going up tomorrow to film the first portion of that. And then we're going to be doing a truck that they're giving away. And I mean, I don't know all the details on it, but
Right.
it's kind of funny. They were out on some boat with Ethan Wayne and got talking about YouTubers, and he starts rattling off his favorite YouTubers, and he goes, yeah, I watched that Matt's Off-Road Recovery and Robby Layton and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, wait, you know who Robbie is? They're like, he's actually the guy that's going to paint this truck for you. And so the guy specifically wanted to come and meet me tomorrow. So
Nice.
anyway, we're going to do that, and which is wild, but met a lot of cool people. And
Are you traveling a lot then? I mean, are you on the road constantly?
Not constantly, but like going to St. George, we probably go to St. George twice a month, if not more sometimes. We were there in March. We've been there this month. We're leaving. I think we actually just canceled the trip to Florida because we just don't have time. But then we're
Sure.
going to Talmadge in May. We've got to go to Washington State at some point. Like, so but it's all like, it's not vacation, it's work.
Right.
'cause when
Business trips.
you've got a camera, and you're having to film everything, it's a job. It's
Right.
a good one. But yeah, we're doing a lot of stuff.
Is it most of them the pickup vehicles, or just part of your content, or?
Part of the content to pick up vehicles. At some point, once we get this video to 50,000 likes, we're buying Hillbilly a Harley. So then we're gonna have to go get that. Just a lot of different stuff.
Sure. Sure. Do you do a lot of giveaways to the general public?
Not like a ton of giveaways, but we do a lot of give back. So we try to give back as much as possible. We did a live stream a couple weeks ago where we gave back a ton of stuff. We ended up giving Hillbilly a mouth makeover.
Sure.
He was supposed to get dental implants, and he ended up getting disqualified because his teeth were too good on a bad scale.
Yeah.
And so anyway, now he's going to go through all the dental procedures and get the good ones fixed, get the bad ones pulled, dental implants, and then we're going to do a set of veneers. So he's still going to get his mouth all fixed up. It's just going to take a lot longer than planned. But so we do a lot of stuff like that. We try to give back to the people that help us.
Right.
Last year we gave a truck to a kid that his dad passed away. We totally restored the truck that his dad rolled and gave it back to him. And we did that through merch sales. So we include, it's not just us giving it. We get our audience involved, by buying shirts, the profits we use to give back.
Sure.
So we're trying as much as we can to be, to be good people.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, you can only do so much too. At the end of the day, you got to make a little for yourself.
Well, and that's why, we do a couple sponsored deals, because we got to buy parts to build the vehicles. We got to buy parts for content.
Yep.
We got to pay wages. I mean, it's a business,
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, and it's a growing business.
I know we talked about this off record, but now that we're on record, last weekend you had the Derby, derbied against, I guess, some semi-local to you,
Yeah.
I guess they're all Utah people.
Yep. So a little bit, so the viewers understand what was going on. We got called out for a Demolition Derby, 4-on-4 style, against the Gladiators of Steel. So the Gladiators of Steel are doing a TV show about Demolition Derby lifestyle and whatever goes into that. So they called out Matt's Off-Road Recovery. Matt's an old school truck driver. And so Matt assembled his team. He picked me, Paul Cox, his son, Rudy Wetzel, and then, oh my hell, why did I just draw a blank? No, that's it. Matt, Rudy, Paul, and me. So anyway, us four. And so it took place at the Dixie Destruction in Hurricane, Utah. And not to spoil it, but I won.
Yeah, 74 Chevy.
Yeah, I was in a 74 Impala. It was probably the most legit car there.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, we won as a team, but I was the last car. I was the last car, and I was pretty pumped about it.
Yeah.
So obviously, it's a team effort, and in a team style show. But there was no money to be had. Basically, just bragging rights. And
Right.
so it ended up coming down to me and TJ McPhee, and I pinned him. Because we kind of talked before. Me and TJ go back years and years and years, and we're good friends. And I could have destroyed my car. He could have destroyed his. At the end of the day, he wanted to run his car again. So it's like, okay, well, I got him in a position where I had him beat.
Right.
I ended up letting him out, tangling with him a little bit more, and then pinning him again.
Yeah.
So, I did a couple head-ons, little soft hits here and there, but it's like, okay, well, we'll just get the win and not destroy his car, not destroy mine, and go on.
You don't run near as much as you used to, though, do you?
No, I used to run like 10 to, I think the highest was 13 shows a year.
Yeah.
And usually 10 to 11. But man, last year I ran in two derbies and got lucky. I ended up winning both. So one was a team show with Case Barker, and our engine didn't run very well. That was in Colville, so we ended up winning, but it wasn't like glorious.
Right.
And then I ran the Sanford County Fair Demolition Derby, and I won first place in that one.
Okay.
And then this year it's working out so far. So, but at some point, I'm going to do my own derby, and it's going to be a YouTube style show where we're going to put in some big name YouTubers and get them in some cars. So,
I gotta grow my channel then.
yeah. So it's not planned yet. It's not set in stone, but it's in the works.
Sure.
So I have talked to a couple of my buddies in the YouTube world, and they're totally game for it. So,
well, the last time I parked beside you was up in Montana. I don't know if you remember that. Me and you were parked beside each other during the Calcutta in that ugly rain and mud and everything else.
Oh, yeah. That was the longest I've ever ran in a heat, was that final.
Yeah,
and I didn't even do anything spectacular, but it was like 40 minutes before I died, and then it was like another 45 minutes before it was over.
Yeah.
It was so freezing cold.
Oh God, we ended up placing, my team did, and if I remember right, yeah, it was like an hour and some odd minutes, and I still didn't even win the dang thing, and that's how long I went. So
why? My motor, I don't know what the heck happened. The motor's still a joker. I mean, it's just cursed.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what kind of motor it was. It was a pile of crap. That's all I know. But something was wrong, and it just started running like crap. And so I wasn't doing anything amazing. And, I was just like a little punching bag out there.
Well, the time before that, you threw me over the berm down in Vegas. So.
Oh, good. Was that? Oh, that was. You were on Cody Middleator's team.
Yes.
Oh, that was so fun. So were you? You must have been one of the two cars that we put out, and then the other two broke their sticks.
Yeah, it was actually probably for the best that my car got pushed over, because at the end of the day, I had the nicest car out of the group, and it got us to the closer to the end. But because if I would have hung in there with you guys, well, I really wouldn't have had much left.
Well, I shouldn't go into great detail, but I was talking about this the other day, because we were making bets on how quick the heat would go in Hurricane, and I said, well, I think the quickest heat I've ever been in was Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Like our strategy was to just balls out.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't even remember. There was somebody on that team that I got told was running his mouth about me.
Yeah. And you talked about this once.
Well, I don't remember exactly who it was, but at that point I didn't care. I mean, it's just like, all right, well, if they're going to take me out, blah, 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 I'm going to give them something. Sure. We cleaned that heat up so fast.
Well, yeah, it was for the best that I got hung up, because then we.
Well, I just remember I backed to the corner of the arena, and I was full boogie, and I think it was Cody that grabbed his stick and ripped it off, and then he was pointing at the other guy to break his stick, and it was just like, okay, that was so we went into the finals, with pretty decent cars.
Yeah.
Ended up winning the show.
Yeah.
My intentions in the final was I had 2 cars that I was specifically told to take out, and I ended up dropping a drive line, but I did my part with the team, and we ended up carrying us to the win.
I had a rough go. We the second heat we won. We drew like Danny Ogden and all those guys. The second heat, we won that. But then to get into the feature, we drew Siopa's heat.
Oh man!
So it was tough. It came down to me, and then was it Todd and was it Mark? So
I think there was a younger guy that was with him.
Yeah, it was basically me. I was the only one left versus the 2 Siopa as well. The track was hard to get around in the first place, and then they just pinned me spun down, and there I sat. But
dang it.
Yeah, it was I've been in the arena only twice with you, but I did get pushed out once by you. You and Bandow were kind of, teaming, and I was right over the first one of the night over.
Well, our goal was immediately get somebody over the berm.
Yeah.
Then
it worked.
Free.
Yep.
And and we, until we got to Hurricane, that was kind of the strategy, is we were going to try to get somebody immediately out.
Yeah.
Well, there wasn't dirt berms, so that wasn't going to happen.
Right.
And luckily, me and Paul kind of unintentionally took out Gumby's car. But he got out, and they were down to 3, and then something happened with Anthony, and he was out, and then Derek Court got hung up, and I watched TJ kind of get himself in a bad situation, and so I just capitalized on it.
Right.
It took like a minute to get my car positioned to where I backed up into him and just sat there.
Right.
But hey, winning's winning.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't matter, as long as it's the W at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, I would prefer to drive hard and to, mad dog as much as possible, but
yeah,
sometimes you got to be strategic and play the game.
For sure. Well, what else do we not know about you? I think we kind of learned most everything. Your business, your YouTube, your kind of oldish, not old, but your derby life in the past, kind of.
Yeah, I'm 34 years young.
Yeah.
A lot of people on the internet think I'm about 18.
Well, you do look young.
Yeah.
Well, which is a good thing.
Yeah. That is true.
When you're young, you don't want to look young, but when you're old, you want to look young. So
yeah, exactly.
It's kind of that's all we got for you. We'll let you get to your nice supper with your wife, and we do appreciate it, and hopefully we cross paths in the near future.
Sure, let's stay in touch, and I'd gladly be on again, and
absolutely
we'll go from there.
Awesome. Well, you have a good night.
Hey, thank you. You guys too.